Welcome to the stream. And there we have video as well. Let's see about the sound levels again, because I haven't done this in a while. There we go, there's the sound. The lovely sound of Celestian Tales Old North. Oh yeah, I always forget. This is keyboard only. Do I even know how to play this game anymore? Okay, let's see. This is like really weird. How do I do this? I remember nothing. Okay. Spacebar selects things. Goodness. Seriously. Okay, that's the most recent one. Yes, let's load the data. No, the enter key doesn't do anything. Oh god. Those save points, the noise. It is incredible. I'm not sure how long my voice will last again this time, but and I actually don't know how long my back will last or my hand. Like I've been in pain, but we'll see. I have this urge to play, to stream, to rant. Because I haven't done this in a while. So, I have no idea what I was doing here. Then again, I can't even remember what keys to use. Okay. Press Q for the menu. Let's see. Logbook. That's the one I want. Storyline. I sort of did this. So we got into battle and met a big baddie, which was interesting. So to warm up, I'll once again read through the storyline stuff. The game says that Chapter 3 is new, so I'll just trust the game. Chapter 3, Call to Battle. So those are Lady Belenus and the Seneschal. One resides in Godland, the other in the Seat of Justice, both in the Great Plains where my village was. And still we were milked to death by the nobles. What use are great warriors if they can't bring prosperity to the people? What use are their titles if they can't get their peers to uphold justice? Oh yeah, if you haven't watched these streams before or are not familiar with the game, or specifically this character, this character is a peasant who has taken on the identity of a nobleman, a squire to the king, or like two knights. The system is sort of weird. Basically, a knight in training, and it's limited very strictly to the nobility. So he has a different perspective from the others. The Geraldines are the kind of people I never want to get close to. They put on a nice and pious mask, but choke their people as close to death as they can. I know. My village was one among many who were under such nobles. Yeah, that was an interesting exchange. Interesting exchange in the game. Yeah, if you want to see the previous stuff, then check out the YouTube channel. User Muad Mouse. Not that difficult. The Geraldines are a joy to voice act, because they're very distinct, they're very over the top. The more subtle a character is, the more difficult it is to really find the voice, especially when you're doing multiple voices, because then it's not quite as easy to switch from one to another. But we faced the World Enders, which is like orcs, basically. Seems to be. Some sort of giant. So that's what World Enders look like. Suddenly I'm glad I didn't join the militia when I was young. Not like I could anyway, as that would leave Mother doing everything on her own. I can't keep myself from thinking of the soldiers. The unsung heroes who'll die in this war to defend the realm. Renard's confidence got the best of me when he mentioned glory. I shouldn't have retorted. Luckily it was just between us squires, else I would have drawn more attention than I'd like. I'm glad we have Sir Arthur with us. If he's not the man he is, we'll probably be fighting those monsters in the front lines by now. Instead, we were given guard duty to protect the supplies. Important enough to get noticed, safe enough to stay alive. The best role I can ask for. Oh, that hits the nail on the head. The nail that stands up gets hammered down. Because if you're a knight, well, you're not at the top of the pile. Renard was visibly restless, not being in the midst of combat. I can see the other squires, though less blatant, are getting uncomfortable as well. I guess I also felt some kind of guilt, knowing that there were soldiers fighting with their lives on the line, just a short distance away, while I was lounging around in the camp. But we were needed here. Without us, that Ender ambush would have wrecked the supplies and ended our war. We did good, if I may say so. As you can tell, probably the whoever wrote the text, not a native speaker of English. But I keep repeating this in these streams. I like the stuff. Like the error every now and then doesn't really throw me off that badly. It happens occasionally, but then again, that can happen even with native. How do I go back to lists? No. Like, seriously. How am I how am I so bad at this? Okay. Now I'm just sort of randomly pushing buttons. Let's see what that does. Yeah, now I'm genuinely confused. Ah, shift. There we go. Q for the menu, shift for back, space to select. What do you mean I'm in my 40s? So, we got to chapter 4, A Broken City. I've heard rumours of Lord Severing being undefeated in any war he's ever been, but I'd be lying if I wasn't amazed at how smooth this one went. Sure, I wasn't in the Battle of Longtooth Pass myself, but judging from the faces of our soldiers, I'm sure they're just as amazed. How those 3 generals did this is beyond my comprehension. Heathen faith or not, seeing what they did gave me the impression that they're not... Oh, this one's talking about the World Enders. But yeah, how those 3 generals did this is beyond my comprehension. Well, it should be. They didn't. Like, they're just one part of the puzzle and they get all the glory. Well, which does come up in the game, fortunately. The exchange with Renard, I think, that got mentioned in the previous chapter. Well, that was something to that effect, I believe. I seem to remember. But anyway, about the World Enders, and when going behind enemy lines. Heathen faith or not, seeing what they did gave me the impression that they're not as dumb as we thought they are. Who knows, maybe they're actually pretty smart. Which would be a really bad thing. If the city I live in got attacked and pillaged by those giants, I'd hate them as well. Maybe as hateful as that man was, torturing Enders until they become empty husks who do anything he says. Hopefully I'll never become such a despicable human being. The Seneschal is going to start the trial for Sarastri. Since we were there at the time, he'd possibly ask us to be witnesses. As much as I'd like to stand for someone who saved our lives, I'm afraid it'll get me too much attention. I'll let the others say something. Oh. And dodging your responsibility to tell the truth. Oh, yeah, well, what the situation is that magic is forbidden in the kingdom. And Sarastri, whom we encountered sort of on the road during the tutorial, came to our rescue and cast some spells. So he's in a bit of a pickle. Save the day with forbidden means. I've actually thought a lot about magic systems in fantasy settings recently. I ran this D&D 5th edition campaign on Noppaturi, www.youtube.com/Noppaturi. It's a Finnish language thing. D&D 5e. So when, like, Dungeons and Dragons has always been the rules have been very different from the world or worlds that tend to be presented. With the possible exception of Eberron, actually. I'm very fascinated by Eberron. But like Forgotten Realms, Greyhawk, like the one I grew up with, really. Even Dark Sun, which is a sort of a different take. And also Dragonlance, or whatever. They all have this dissonance with the rules, because they're sort of, the settings are trying to create these Tolkien-esque, like Middle-earth worlds, but the rules don't really, they don't follow the same logic. They have a very different take on magic and how that works, and the settings, for the most part, don't take into account how that would change the world. This technology of magic. There are some half-hearted attempts, or sort of afterthoughts, really, that are clearly stuff that gets added on later on when the setting and the rules collide in-game and you need to have explanations. Then, yeah, then they sort of come about. But yeah, magic is a very... If magic is something that you can learn, it has to be very strictly controlled by the powers that be, or else other powers would get access to that very mighty resource. And then shit will go down. It's sort of can be likened to the gun control debate. That is it okay that only the cops and the military have guns? Which is a whole other topic, and also very regional. I used to be very much in favor of gun control. Now, like in an American context, I'm sort of starting to favor like guns for everybody. Because people have to protect themselves from the police. Not that it couldn't happen here as well, but yeah, that's another thing. So there's the storyline. Did we unlock new lore? We unlocked Montcalm. Town of Montcalm. While makers and innovators would naturally flock to the side of traders, it was the warrior knights of the Durandal who highly valued people of these specialties. Such was their interest in items of masterwork qualities, and their willingness to pay hearty sums for them, that most of the pioneers' master crafters pledged loyalty to the White Knights. Among these crafters was House Wissis, who refused to mingle with other artisans and built itself a mansion on the hills. While they did so to seclude themselves and focus on their art of stargazing, in a few years the area became a popular destination for gentries who sought to escape the industrial bustle of Farblade. Though the Wissis were reluctant to govern a town and would prefer to focus on their arts, under their rule, Montcalm grew into a moderately prosperous town. So that, I suppose that's the place where we are now? I'm guessing. Do we actually have a map? No, we don't have a map. But we do have a party. Isaac, Ilian and Lucien at the moment. And that's a good combo, so I'll go with that. Because Lucien is a really good tank. And Ilian can resurrect. And who doesn't like Lucien, really? Also, I really want to play the game playing with Ilian, who's from an elven society. She's half elven, and elves seem to have some sort of well, they seem to have a gift economy. I'm not quite entirely sure what the details are on that civilization, but there it is. Alrighty. I have no idea where I'm supposed to be going. Oh, there's some stores here, and I think I looted. Did a bit of lootings? Ooh, hello Tepetsu. This is an... I'm not sure about the origins of this. This is a very JRPG style game, but it's not Japanese. I'm very sure about that. It does, like, Eastern European, it sort of strikes me as. Let's see what the LaRue soldier has to say. This house has been designated as the Lord General's command post. Entry is prohibited except for those with immediate business with the General. Levant soldier. This house has been designated for your use, squires. However, I have heard that you are currently needed elsewhere. Please finish your tasks before taking a rest. Dun, dun, dun. Shoppings. I've acquired some leftover armors from the rubbles. They're not in prime condition, but certainly more than serviceable. Like entirely out of livre. Lots of stuff we could sell, I suppose, but these ingredients are needed for upgrades. This isn't an acceptable place to set up shop, but business must go on. Yeah, turn-based combat. A very sort of classic JRPG sort of stuff. And rather dull, to be frank. But it's sort of the aesthetic and the content and the dialogue that I'm really here for. I thought when we get here, I'd have a better place to work. I'm sorry, but this still isn't a great place to smith. Still can't do much about your weapons. Okay, that's... We can do some upgrades. Or not. Apparently, we've upgraded everything almost as far as it could go. Okay, we could make the lockbow... yeah, the lockbow and arbalest. But that, not necessarily an actual improvement. Yeah. I'm good, but I'm no miracle worker. To do this much with a wrecked forge already takes a skill of its own. Yeah, the good thing about this game is that it doesn't really take that long to play through, and it's got all those six characters that each have a different perspective on the story. I've played this through with one character, with Arya, who's like a religious fundamentalist, and as a noble and haughty as they come, and the current character Isaac has a very different perspective. I'm trying to look for some loot. Apparently everything is guarded. They don't want us to... Oh! There's something. There's something. Small aqua crystal. Yeah, they've made the very... oh, there's an ornamental. The collectibles indicate that this has been kickstarted. And that it's a backer thing to... name those the collectibles. What happened to this town shall perhaps be our warning. This is merely a fraction of what those creatures will do to us if we do not attain victory in this war. Thy wounds are cleansed. May Deus keep thy souls brave and thy minds clear. Don't need to buy anything from them, because I'm playing this on the easiest difficulty, so... Yeah, they made the questionable design choice of hiding major equipment boosts in, like, in people's houses. And boxes like, oh, okay, just like that. A composite bow. That would go to Ilian. No, wait, this is the wrong inventory. No. No. There we go. This is the one we want. So let's see what the attack plus 15, plus 15% damage on consecutive attacks to the same target on following turn. And if we were to change that? Oh! Okay, yeah, yes, yes, please. I approve. So basically, the point here with this character is that, yeah, he's a peasant whose mum died because there's a sparkly thing. Whose mum died because the priests wouldn't give her medicine, basically. Because it was reserved for the nobility. And then, well, he up sticks and left, and then on the road he encountered an uppity nobleman who was demanding assistance and was very much a dick. And then our protagonist killed him, just stabbed him to death. And took his identity and entered service as a squire. So he has a very different perspective on things. It was interesting to start the game with playing with a murderer. There's the what's his face? The Ravager? No, wait, the Ravager has a red armor. The underground area is currently closed by the Inquisition for investigative purposes. Please leave the premises immediately. Sure thing. Apparently can't go anywhere. Entry to this chamber is prohibited except for the Inquisition. Wouldn't want anyone to pilfer things that might give us hints now, do we? What? Me? A thief? As if I was an RPG protagonist or something. Okay, let's get the show on the road. Oh, it's Roosevelt. The trial for Astery of the Levant, accused of practicing the arcane, will start soon. Like my voice can't stretch to the bombast this would require, but I'll try. It needs a Brian Blessed sort of voice. You were there when the incident happened, squires. You will be asked to stand as witnesses. Are you ready for the trial? Yes, we are ready. There is nothing more to loot. Very well. I shall summon the other judges and the accused. Oh, this will be a lot of dialogue. Get to your places, squires. The trial will commence. The trial of Astery, Knight of Levant, shall commence. Soldiers,
Bring in the accused.
I'm not sure if I'm if it's allergies or if I'm sort of stuffed it up otherwise, but my voice isn't doing that well. But it's not like I'm a professional, so what the fuck does it matter? I want to play a game.
Ostery, Knight of Levant, you are accused of performing arcane arts, a practice forbidden by the law. Do you confess to breaking the law in this manner? I do. Very well. The judges were informed that you performed these arts in order to save the lives of others. The judges call upon Marianne, Countess of Belenus, to deliver her testimony. Lady Belenus, tell us of the events that happened leading to the moment of the act.
Yesterday, these squires were sent by the army commanders to Montcalm on their own. Their task was simply to notify the nobles of our arrival, so that preparations could be made. However, soon afterwards, we received news that Montcalm had fallen to the Enders. Unsure of their capabilities to fend for themselves, I took the initiative to go and assist them. I took with me Sir Astory, for he claimed to be knowledgeable of the town. We looked for the squires, and found them in the underground chamber of this castle. There they were surrounded by dozens of those monstrosities. And soon, so were the two of us. It was then, when we were out of options to escape, that Sir Astory performed the act. Gotta go take a nap, but I'll be looking here. Have a nice nap. Well, thank you, and you have a very nice nap as well. The incantation momentarily dazed our foes. We used the gap to slip away to safety. That would be all, judges. Gareth is one of the Geraldines. May I ask thee a question or two, Lady Belenus? Of course. Lady Belenus, thou said in thy testimony that ye were out of options, didn't you? Indeed. We were cornered, outnumbered, and exhausted. But ye could still fight, yes? I can't remember what sort of voice I did for Gareth previously, but I'm now just going with basically a Slytherin voice. We could have fought, but I believe the chances of us surviving were very slim. If my memories mistake me not, there were 8 of ye at that moment, 'tis correct? Where are you going with this, Gareth?
Lady Belenus, please answer the judge's question.
Yes, there were 8 of us. Well then, was it truly impossible to save ourselves? Each of thee were well-trained, well-equipped nobles from thy respective houses. One amongst thee is even a renowned duelist wielding a sacred sword, no less. To get away unscathed would be unlikely, I concur. But to merely make it out alive? 'Tis not an impossible feat for the Lioness of Belenus and her faith keeper, no? Are you suggesting we should have fought that horde of creatures on our own? I know my own limits, and so do the squires. We wouldn't win against them. Ah, but thou would not have known the limits of the faith keeper. Surely the Deus would have rescued a wielder of one of his sacred blades. Unless, of course, if thou did not believe in his intervention. Alas, I shall neither speak nor make an argument out of uncertainty. Well, such a right-wing bastard. Sort of tossing out these speculations about things and then lets you come to your own conclusions. After all, none can truly know what plans the Deus has in the works for each of us. Yet, I cannot help but think that Sir Astori's arts might have not been truly needed. It eased the endeavour of thy survival, perhaps, but to argue that he saved lives? 'Tis doubtful, in my opinion. It's a classic witch trial sort of deal. They survived. Must be a witch. Gareth, you...
Your testimonies have been heard, Lady Belinus. Thank you. Please return to the witness's stand. Now, if you please. Would there be any more questions from any of the judges?
Okay, interesting. No one else is interested in asking anything. We're not condemning this person. We're just staying silent.
Does the defendant have anything to say before the judges decide his punishment?
Oh, by the way, the one of the judges there, that's the Ravager. That's the big general, undefeated in battle. Doobie-doobie-doo, dude. But Uster, he says.
None. Very well. The judges shall now decide the sentence to befall the defendant. Speaking on behalf of the Church of Deus Valarus, High Cardinal Gareth of the Geraldine.
Death by drowning. And the crowd cheers. Who doesn't love a good spectacle?
Speaking on behalf of the defendant's army, Lord General Severin of the Larue. Exile. 10 years.
Well, exile actually is a pretty good deal. Because, well, Uster has come out of the closet. This realm will not be safe for him, so an exile would be a good idea anyway. Or, well, self-imposed exile. But it always sucks to be thrown out of a country. Legasp! This must be a joke!
Silence. The two judges differ in their decisions. By the rights of an arbiter, I shall deliver the final sentence for this trial. Asteri, Knight of Levant, I hereby sentence you to be stripped of all possessions which remain in the realm, to be, from now and henceforth, denied of all titles, family names, and all rights to inheritance, and to be exiled from the realm of the Old North for 15 years.
Again, losing all your possessions for an aristocrat, that does suck. But he does have useful skills. Not entirely without capital. He's benefited from the from considerable resources during his tenure as Sir Astory. As Story. Exile. How lenient, says Noble One. The Noble One. Well, he did save some lives. Are you sure it's not because he's a Levant? Oh yeah, connection to the ruling family. What? Useful. 'Tis be lunacy. Oh, okay, that throws him off because tis is an abbreviation of it is. So, 'tis lunacy. Surely thy words speak not of a just decision.
Silence, Baron. You dare question the decree of an arbiter?
Especially one who can shout very loudly. Even arbiters stand not above the laws of the Deus, Seneschal. Heretics deserve nay better than death by drowning, or be burned at the stake.
And what do the laws say about heroic sacrifices for another, High Cardinal? What do the scriptures say about one's courage to admit guilt? To have neither saved himself nor escaped a trial that may well end his life in dishonour. Is this not the very virtue of bravery the law teaches to its followers?
Well, not really. Obedience to your superiors seems to be the actual main tenet of the religion, as it tends to be with organised religion in general. It wouldn't be organised otherwise, really. You have to maintain the hierarchy.
My decision stands, Geraldine. Now return to your place.
Grr.
Squires?
Yes, Mr. Bear?
Mr. Bear?
Ely meant yes. Seneschal, sir.
Are you calling me names now? No matter. Listen well to your task, squires. You are to escort Astory to Levantine, where he shall be taken away from the realm for his exile. Afterwards, take this letter to Lord Levant. It shall notify him, as Astory's only next of kin, of what happened.
Seneschal's letter. A quest item.
Shall this man escape in any way imaginable, then I shall deem all 6 of you accomplices to heresy. Thus you will be sentenced the same exile as has been awarded. What the hell? Why do we get to be punished as well?
What if he uses arcane against us? We wouldn't be able to do anything about that.
That is for you to figure out yourselves, squires. You are given orders. Your duty is not to ask questions, but to do them well. Stop whining like little kids and start acting like the knights you're going to be. Youngsters these days. This court is dismissed. Soldiers, take this heretic away.
Intolerable. What kind of a circus is this? Betoken the Lord General that the army of the House Geraldine withdraws from this war. One heathen has escaped just punishment. I shall not give the runaway the same chance.
But Lord Gareth, we need as many people as we can to fight the World Enders. Without you and the Inquisitors in our ranks, we'd be severely weakened.
Doth he not see the abominations that roam under this very ground, Sir Arthur? The demented man that is their maker is currently roaming freely in this realm. What wisdom makes you believe we shall let such a creature be? This realm of ours needs to be protected, and not just from the outside, but also the inside. Let us not see only one, and leave the other to silently gnaw upon us. Yeah, of course, by protecting the country, he means protecting the elite, the ruling class. Because really, the bloody wizardry didn't harm, like, a lot of common soldiers were probably saved by that act of wizardry. But when you're very far from the front lines, you don't really care about that now, do you? Arya? Yes, honored father. Deus protect thee in the battlefield, dear child. And thee as well, honored father. I shall be leaving as well. My paladins and I have set ourselves up in one of the abandoned houses in the city. Come and visit me later, squires. Boom, ba, ba, ba. So, there it was. Yeah, the Ravager didn't speak in Astori's defense. Or didn't act, like, it's not just that he didn't speak in his... He was a judge. I'm okay with his role of not asking questions. Or rather, of not speaking on anyone's behalf. But Gareth certainly used his ability to ask questions. The Ravager did not. And Gareth wasn't asking questions really. He was just making statements, making claims. And that was... yeah. So the Ravager doesn't really give a shit. Of course, he has a political career to consider. Must not get tangled up in these petty feuds. I really do hate the sound those save points make. They're mixed so much louder than anything else in the game. And I haven't found a setting that would really turn them down low so that I could still hear other things. But yeah, let's find them. That's where they are, I think. Let's see. Lady Belenus awaits you, honoured squires of the Levant. Do I want to meet her? Well, sure. Yeah, like, there's a whole lot of rants I can make about the trial. But yeah, well, let's play on. is that I just head down tangents and so on and so forth. Very well. Please go through. Squires, you must be tired, and more than a little confused, perhaps. As if having abominations are not enough, then comes along a magi. Deus, what has the realm turned into? How did we let such evil take a root among our nobility? Correction. How did we let such evil take root among our nobility? Extra R there.
And instead of joining the main force and charging at the enemy, we're to look after that man.
I can't condone his methods, but that man you're rudely addressing saved our lives. Whatever happened, happened. We should be grateful to still be alive. As strict as your uncle, I see. The apple falls not far from the tree. Yet 'tis a fair question, milady. Why did the task fall upon us? Would it not be less conspicuous to send others instead of us, whom he had saved? Surely the seneschal understands that there is a risk that we feel indebted to him. Actually, I think that's one of the reasons why the seneschal gave us this task.
Can you explain it in a less cryptic way for the less educated Camille?
Imagine yourself a common soldier, guarding a man who wields unknown powers of great might. Wouldn't you fear him? Wouldn't you be fearful for your own life? It's very much probable that you'd strike as soon as he does anything suspicious. Are they saying that the seneschal seeks to ensure his safety? Well, he would have just ordered the man to drown if he didn't care at all. Such a decision would also be more acceptable among the nobles, thus helping his reputation. But perhaps more than anything, he feared for the safety of Sir Astori's guards.
So it's better to send us away instead. I don't get it.
Look, Sir Astori has destroyed his life to save ours. He wouldn't do anything to us to undo that. That's a different story for common guards. Who knows what he can do, even in shackles? Camille of the Rhine! You'll make a great strategist one day with such insight. Such complicated reasons for just a single decision. Arbiters have to make many difficult decisions like this in a split second. The seneschal may not look like it, but there's a great mind behind that towering body. Are humans always this complicated when they decide on something?
Nope. Not me.
I think we can all agree on that, Renard. Ely thinks it's weird to even punish him at all. He saved our lives. Such a thing shouldn't be so hard to decide. Right? With illegal method, Cillian. One right does not make up for a lifetime of wrongs. He's fortunate the seneschal did not send him to Witch's Nest. Death be a better fate than that. Huh? What's the Witch's Nest? It's a prison island, Iliad. The worst criminals are sent there and locked underground. I heard the cells are so dark and damp that prisoners slowly go blind over time. The wardens would inflict horrible pains, but not kill the prisoners, so they may suffer longer. Their wounds then soon become reeking gangrenes, slowly creeping to the rest of the body. The slow rot to death turns many to madness, and many helplessly beg for a quick death. But chains keep them from suicide, and the wardens ensure they suffer for their crimes. Humans can be very scary. There's a reason only the worst offenders are sent there, really. Many of them deserve such cruelties. Illy isn't sure which one is scarier. People who can do things to deserve it, or those who think such a horrible punishment is alright. Alright, enough of frightful bedtime stories. Each day the Enders keep arriving in large numbers. Severin won't wait for you for the assault. By dawn the army will march to White Rock Hills, and then to the northern coasts. We'll take on the Enders, where they land their ships and lock them there before they can cause more havoc. You should regroup with us as soon as you've escorted Asteroid to Levantine and given Lord Levant the news. Understood, milady. Levant soldiers have a house readied for your personal use. You'll find it in the southeastern part of the town, just beside Severin's command house. Go and have some rest now, squires. It'll be a long day tomorrow. There's a bit to unpack there. Illy makes an excellent point about punitive justice, or well, vengeance rather. And I was disappointed with Lucienne that she would consider, well, for the most part she's had a very level head and been sort of reasonable, sort of militant and so on, but sort of reasonable by that standard. That she would be a proponent of torturing people to death. This doesn't make any sense, because most of what is considered to be a crime, and that varies very broadly, it's done out of at least perceived necessity, like Sir Astory here. Doesn't really have a choice. So the situation is such that no matter the punishment, you're still better off taking your chances. So it doesn't actually prevent anything. Of course, the laws in general are they're set by the most privileged people around. So, and these people in general do not end up in situations where they are forced to do anything. They won't go hungry. They won't have to steal food. They have bodyguards. They won't have to defend themselves. They're not in a violent situation where they couldn't just rely on others. That's all a bunch of bullshit. Let's see. This hospital has been designated as the Lord General's command post. Entry is prohibited, except for those with immediate business with the General. And apparently, we don't have immediate business. Yeah, but also, like, the more horrible the punishment, the less likely people are to confess or to right their wrongs. promotes a culture of subterfuge. And especially in a very strict class society such as this, there is no reason to really trust anyone. But yeah, it's just like I really like Ilian's character in this game because she brings up like the immense hypocrisy and terrible that is the is the society. But I'll take a short break. And let my voice rest for a little while and go to the loo and so on and so forth. So I'll see you in a bit. Hi folks, I'm back. It's a silly thing that the game does, that if you select another window then the audio cuts out. Nothing I can do about it. My only option, I suppose, would be to run the soundtrack or something in the background. But that would be way too hard. Okay, yeah. Why am I fiddling with the mouse again? This is not that sort of game. But anywho, had a nice break. Midsummer's is coming up, so and my body reminded me that fiber is good and necessary. Do not overlook fiber. Remember all the midsummers you've had when you haven't had enough fiber. But yeah, let's see if we can go to sleep, because Greetings, honoured squires. This house has been reserved for your personal use. Yeah, let's proceed. Very well. Please take care of dividing the rooms by yourselves, because they have to be divided by gender. Because the character left the party formation changed. Oh, so we've got different rooms now? Do we have like a sort of a chance to have a chat? No, we have a cutscene. There's Isaac. You there? What are you doing? Master Isaac. You look terribly suspicious, soldier. What are you doing with those crates? Suspicious? Oh, I guess it must have looked that way. I'm looking for a trinket, Master Isaac. A barrette, with a small piece of amber on top. My mother gave it to me before I left my village to soldier. I think I must have dropped it while I was patrolling the town. Oh. Actually, I made that character sound a lot more suspicious than I should have. Oh well, can't do anything about that. Oh. I'm sorry for suspecting something else. You shouldn't have to apologise, Master Isaac. It's my fault for looking dubious. How about I help you out finding that barrette? We'll surely find it quicker with 4 eyes than 2. No, it's fine. I appreciate the offer, but I can't possibly ask a noble. It's alright, really. I have nothing better to do this afternoon anyway. Now, let's start looking where you've been patrolling, shall we? That would be confusing. Like, unnerving. Because the thing about nobles is that they, or well, sort of the privileged, the ruling class, is that they expect you to perform your best, so you receive no thanks for doing your job. But should you fail in any way, you've disappointed them. You have shaken their trust in society. Because they themselves are, of course, faultless. Well, of course, if you never do anything, it's not like you can really make mistakes now, can you?
If you say so, Master Isaac.
I've searched all over those crates. Must be somewhere else. Dun, 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 dun. Looking for the barrette. I'm not sure what the barrette here refers to. Is it like a bar, a diminutive of a bar, or is it oh, there we go. Or is it like, have they like misspelled beret? Because it seems to be like all the rage, berets and similar caps. I had a talk with the blacksmith for a moment near here. Maybe it's hidden behind these tools. Let's try looking for it. Clang clong. Found anything yet? No, I don't think it's here. Let's try looking somewhere else. Oh, let's try looking somewhere else then. Oh? Hey, isn't this? That's it. That's my barrette. Don't lose it again, alright? Yes. Thank you for your help. You are indeed a kind person, Master Isaac. Just like what my sister told me. Your sister? My sister used to serve your father as a maid in the Golden Lake household. Her name is Mara, perhaps you remember? I think so, yes. She told me stories that you were very kind to her, even since you were very young. You used to call her auntie every time, despite her being a commoner. Your sister... where is she now? After things happened in House Golden Lake, she came to live with me in Grenoble. That was 5 years ago, but she still remembers her life in the plains. I see. So that's where she's been living. Can you please send her my regards when you meet her again? I will, Master Isaac. She'll be so happy that you remember her. I'll be on my way now, sir. Thank you so much for helping me out today. Actually, just realised, not enough sirring there. Or, like, less sirring than I expected. That was unexpected. But could it be that the Golden Lake boy isn't a corrupt noble like any other? Did I kill an innocent? I shouldn't think about it anymore. No nobles are innocent, Reed. Don't forget where you came from. I am Isaac Golden Lake now, not him. I'll be a better noble than he could ever be. Oh, quite possibly. Like, he's actually, like, this Isaac, or Reed, has actually seen hardship and has seen the downside of the system. Of course, he's now in a position of privilege, so usually that tends to narrow one's perspective. But yeah, like, being nice to an individual doesn't really make you a good person. Ooh. The army has mustered.
The northern coast is harsh, is unforgiving for the weak. Its salty winds are strong and dry, and your skin will wither and bleed as you move in your armor. Our enemies, the World Enders, are bigger than us, stronger, fiercer. They came here crossing a sea that we all thought was the end of the world. And they did it with ships, powered with the sheer strength of their arms. Our battle with them will not be easy. Let none of you believe otherwise. And through that battle, not all of us will survive. Not all of us can return to our homes. But even knowing this, we shall fight. For if we don't, there won't be a home left at all. The Old North shall stand through this war, and it will do so because of us. The realm will prevail because we, today, at this moment, do not falter. I love a good speech. For the Old North, long live the Ravager! Soldiers, let us march! No, at least he actually marches. Doesn't ride a horse. Didn't want to animate it, but yeah. The fact remains. Seems like the kind of dude that might actually do some marching. At least at first. Showy as always. The two of you never change, do you? Don't worry, Thedas. You'll never be Severin. But you have your own charms. Really? I'm just joking. Huh. Soldiers of Belenus, you heard the Lord General. Let us show the wolves of Levant that lions too have claws to bear. Paladins, let us march! Don't dare, like, raise my voice that much. It's midnight. Arbiters, forward! No speeches there. Just a simple imperative.
Whoa, Lucien's uncle looks so calm and composed. Do you want to be like him someday, Luce? No. I don't want to be like him, Illy. I want to stand at his side, serving him as his loyal lieutenant. Together we shall defend the realm, side by side. That is my dream.
That's some hardcore idolizing there in your eyes. If you weren't his niece, I bet you'd want to be his wife as well. Damn. You're not thinking about it, are you?
Enough with this chatter. Let's just hurry and escort Sir Astery to Levantine and tell Lord Levant what happened. Then we can catch up with the rest.
Please. I'm not a sir anymore.
Indeed. Sorry about that.
It's fine. Shall we go now?
The character has joined the party. Chapter 5. Detour.
I like the bombastic music. Energizing.
Ah, okay. Eliane has... Oh, okay, the setup has actually changed. Isaac, Arya, and Camille... I'm not sure about that. I don't think... Okay, Arya is actually a tank as well as a healer. I seem to remember. No, I'm in the wrong menu again. Let's see. Heals target. effects. Deus' Wrath. Deals damage to target enemy. Inflicts silence for 3 turns. That's pretty good. Revives fallen ally. Restores 50% HP. Divine Intervention heals all allies and cures negative status, which is very handy. Caregiver increases amount of heal from skills. Ally revived with Awaken gains 2 stamina instead of 0. Yeah, well, bringing people back to life is rather nice. But I think it sort of went to the default setup here. Just frankly, Ilian is really good because she's also got Revivification. Revives fallen ally, regenerates target's HP for 3 turns. Increases target ally's stamina by 3, which can be really useful. Cures poison and bleed from target, so those are the most common status effects. And Power Shot deals massive damage to enemies in our line. Nature's Blessing. All allies start each battle with extra +1 stamina, regenerates small amounts of HP each turn. Yeah, that +1 stamina at the start of each battle is actually can be game changer. And I like Ilian. It's all right to like things, and Lucian as well. I like Camille as well. In a way, I like all the characters, which is something of an achievement, really. Because usually in these games, at least some of the characters are weak or dull. Like, different characters are dull to different people. But maybe I'm just the target audience for this game. Class-conscious RPG geek. Oh, speaking of, I got that for my birthday. The Pyramid of Capitalism. It's very nice. I'm very proud of it. Well, I don't like. There's no sense in me being proud of it. I didn't do anything for it. So it's a gift. I like gifts. Gifts are nice. But yeah, this is the easiest party composition. Actually, apparently there's nothing in the houses. Or at least they cannot be accessed. Like I am a completionist. I crawl over every inch of every stage of every game, all the maps. In a manner that might be considered OCD-ish. But I actually, like, I wouldn't claim to have OCD. Let's replace that. God damn, it's hot. Like, it's rained all day. Oh, well, several times today, and so the air is very humid. And it's rather warm as well. And I changed my shirt for this because I had a clean white shirt on before, but it was so bright that the light reflected from my meager illumination actually fucked up the camera, so that my my face went dark. And that's the content you're really here for, isn't it? Like, the face. Okay, Montcalm. And, there's Anon Taure, the Elven Forest. Cool. But yeah, we're heading for Levantine. Okay, there's a thing there. Actually, the world map can have like collectibles. But yeah, now I have this shirt, which is my oldest shirt, I believe. Once upon a time it was black. Now it's this really dull grey. Like the... it is the colour of dust and forgotten joy. And it's worn down to be very soft, very nice. And apart from the holes in it, it's still fairly thick and sort of a heavy fabric. But it is hot. It's not a cool shirt, like in any sense of the term. Okay, let's see what we got on the way. Randomly. Oh, there's a collectible. We have collected the collectible. Okay, for shits and giggles, let's go north. Okay, nothing there. Nothing to the south, so it's the... What? Was that it? Seriously? Oh? Like one collectible. And that was all? Oh well. We got the collectible, so... There's the war camp, Grey Forest and the Needle. Actually, let's check the logbook. Because the logbook offers insights as to the plot. So let's see, chapter 5. No, chapter 4. Let's see the last paragraphs. Let's see. Okay, it's arguable whether or not we'd survive without Sir Asteri back there. But I'd rather have him save us than fight those Enders by an inch of my life. Life is unfair. That's the way it is, especially in a place like this. The more time I spend being Isaac, the more people I'm going to meet who actually knows the boy. It's just one or two now, but it'll be dozens before long. I have to be ready. I have to commit fully to becoming him if I want to have a chance in this. So our task is to take our story to Levantine, where he will be sent to the Outer Realms. Afterwards, we have to send the Seneschal's message to Lord Levant and inform him of what happened. I feel bad for him. He literally sacrificed his future in the realm for our sake. But that's life for you. Oh, nice and cynical. Yeah, it's a pity that we can't access the map, like, outside of this. So that would be really nice. Here's the war camp, or what's left of it. Someone left something. A trident. That's for Lucienne, I think. Oh, oh yeah, absolutely, it is. Plus 20% additional chance to trigger duelist stance. Well, it's a lot better than the Vosges. Anyway, so let's go with the trident. What is the duelist stance anyway? Counterattack. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely excellent. Let's see what the filthy peasant has to say. Thank Deus for Lord Severin and the army. These leftovers will find new homes in my family's stomachs tonight. Greetings, masters and misses. I hope you don't mind me cleaning up after the army. I like it that they sort of show the aftermath. Oh, there's a collectible. Not only does it like give you a sense of like story progression, it also like makes the world a more dynamic place. It looks like it's lived in. Actually, what happens if we go like... Okay, just... It's an exit. Like, I dislike the sort of design that... in which nothing happens unless the protagonist is there. I see the sense in it, and I sort of appreciate it. In that, like when I play myself, then like if I play Skyrim or something, that things do not progress while I'm sort of fucking around. But I might be more interested in the game if that was the case, that there were like time limits and so on. Of course, it makes it a lot more challenging from a design and like narrative perspective. Like it can really gum up the works. But I think Skyrim might actually be able to do that because of the quest sort of architecture, that it's got nearly random quests and these sort of backup quest givers. So even if people sort of, you know, go from place to place, that might not break things up. Actually, it would be interested to know if there's a mod that does that. But that's a rather heavy mod with lots of potential conflicts. But yeah, let's... This Levant ship sails the length of the Grand Flux. You can come aboard and we'll drop you off where you want. Grenoble or Levantine? I get up. Now we get to decide where to go first. If we go to Levantine, we might be able to take this matter to the king and get something there. I'll be boring and I'll just, like save again. And there we go. Yeah, this dun, 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 no storyline. Okay, we have to take him to Levantine anyway. Actually, I'll try to, out of curiosity, I'll see if we can actually go to Grenoble. Okay, I can, apparently. Can I do anything here is another matter. I hope Lord Severin makes it back safely from the battle in the shores. What would the realm do without him? Who would its women dream of marrying? I wouldn't want to marry a violent person. After passing through the Cavern of Selves, you'll soon reach the Witch's Nest. Ships steer clear from it like the plague. Even touching its fogs can bring bad luck, they say. Yeah, it's nice that they mention it. Trade goods. Okay, this stuff, not really interested. Its soldiers marching north to war bring a lot of supplies. Granaries are now half empty. It's times like these that we should sell our wheats with increased margin. Oh, then, yeah. Yeah, that's sort of fucked up. Like, he's correct in the market logic of it, that increased demand would hike up prices. But during a war, food is particularly valuable and like necessary for people. Well, it's always necessary. But the logic that the more a thing is needed, the fewer people should have access to it. That's so, like, incalculably fucked up. It is insane. It is stupid. I'll check the chat thing. Yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes I've had problems with the chat window not updating. Seems to be fine. But yeah, like during COVID, this whole thing has been, the insanity of the market has been very, very clear. Like vaccines, we need the bloody things. We need that stuff to live. So, of course, the price goes up. Yeah, but of course that's mostly just because. Okay, can we please not go here? My father must be busy. I don't want to bother him. As you wish, Camille. Thank you. Yeah, can't really do anything yet, which is a shame. Excuse me. Like, I did the thing that you really shouldn't ever do with to your voice. I drank cola, which has sugar, carbon dioxide, and caffeine. All of these are basically bad for your voice. But I did need it for my energy levels.
This ship can take you to the war camp or return you to Levantine.
Now let's go to Levantine.
Very well. Please inform me whenever you're ready to go.
Well, right now.
apparently.
Back to where we started. So, I guess this is goodbye. Thanks for bringing me this far, Squires. Thank you, Astari, sir, for saving Ili's life and for not doing your scary thingy to her while we walked together. Ili thinks the others should thank Astari, sir, too. But maybe humans don't do it like Ili. She can't understand them sometimes.
You're welcome, little elf. Be a good knight, will you?
Wait! Sir, I mean... Astari, may I ask you something?
What is it?
What does it look like? The world outside this realm.
It's amazing. The people, the lands, the things they are capable of. Makes you wonder, really, how the old North could have stayed the way it is. If we ever see each other again, Camille Rhine, I'll remember to tell you stories from the Outer Realms. Stories of all the wonders out there. And maybe, if things have changed here, may even be able to bring back some things to show you.
Thank you, Sir Astari, for everything.
Well, I should be going now. If I hold you up any longer, the Ravager would have won the war, and you won't be getting any part of it. Please send my regards to Alan, Squires.
There he goes. I would have liked to have more, discussions with him. I really didn't know what to say to him. He's a criminal, I know, but he still saved us from those horrible creatures. We should treat him as what he is, Lucien. One right wipes not a lifetime of wrongs. Alas, a good deed is a good deed still. Even a heretic like him is entitled to our gratitude.
Well, he's gone to the Outer Realms. A minute too late to say anything now, don't you think? We should focus on the present. Do our best with these lives that he saved. Isn't that a better way to show gratitude than mere words?
I never thought any wise words hid under that thick head of thine, Reynard. Could it be thou wert purposefully hiding it all along?
Ha! I just want us to hurry up and go north so we can fight some Enders. I've been itching so much for the rush of war. A clash between life and death.
I have expected too much, it seems. We still have to deliver the letter to Lord Levant before we can return to the army. Hope he's not busy. This is an urgent matter, after all. His brother has been sentenced for exile. No matter how busy a blade bearer is, he'll definitely have time to read a letter. Let's get going to the castle. Staying here makes me feel all depressed. I don't like it. XP! I haven't had a single... we wandered around for a long time and still no battles. We even, went through Longtooth Pass. I sort of expected there to be a battle. Not that I really miss it, because the battles are really rather crap. Ooh. That's interesting. But yeah. Yeah, let's go to the castle. Let's see if the dialogue options have changed. Soldiers are guaranteed food and shelter, but they have to leave families behind for war. Not to mention risking their lives on the battlefield. I'd rather be here and move crates. I'm not sure if I've been down this road before.
War must be a horror to witness. I pray each day for thine victory in the battles to come. May the deus guide thine every step and harden thine steel squires.
Why is there an Inquisitor here? I bought this really good Merlot, you see. It cost me my 2 weeks' salary. No, not drinking it, when I suppose. Oh, pity. I used my drunk voice. This won't be open until my 2 friends return from the war, but then it'll be worth all the cost. Because he might have been drunk anyway. But, yeah. But not on the wine. It's a long way. Let's see what that... Fresh shipment of coal has arrived from the Outer Realms. The forge is hot and we're open for business. Arbalest. Ooh, I could... If I had the gold and the cold iron to... I could up the lockbow into another form. Which would be nice. But this is an interesting design choice for Isaac. That his weapon like grants a massive attack boost but diminishes health. Considering that he's our main character here, the protagonist, it makes him a risky choice. But it's all good. All good. It'd be nice to have some cold iron. It seems that like upgrading the weapons isn't all that necessary, that if you just go around looting places. Might be a second. Actually mentions Moncon. Okay, interesting. That's nice. There might be second-hand stuffs, but still good as new. Actually, these sort of accessories would be really handy because, for instance, I don't have any accessories on Isaac at the moment. So stuff like that, like +1 starting stamina each battle, is really handy. Also bleed resistance, because bleed can really fuck you up. Same, well, the same for poison. Pleasure doing business with you. I overheard someone saying that Sir Daniel is currently visiting Levantine. It's rare for him to come here. Will you be discussing a new trade agreement? Okay, so there are changes to the dialogue. Interesting.
My wife went to war with the army. My son goes sailing with a trading ship. They often ask me how I don't get bored doing the same thing over and over again.
I think it's like the gardener. A well-dressed gardener.
Do you know why the pool is only overlooking the western commons?
It's because before the founding there's only the western part of Levantine. There's the church. I've just borrowed a book from the library. It's about the founding of the realm. It's a really thick one. I would need days, even weeks to finish it. I just don't want to check. No, I need to check. Okay, no new stuff, because it would be really fascinating to get some new lore. Well, I'll try to fight the temptation to, like, talk to every single one of the NPCs. This guy's still harassing the woman. I wish someone would tell Sir Pathetic not to bother me anymore. Men like him should learn that not every woman can be swayed by wealth and influence.
What do you want, squires?
Ah, now we actually have an option. Stop bothering her.
Am I hearing it right? You little squires telling me to do things? Do you not understand the noble ranks? Which village did you come from? Alas, I was once young as well. My tongue too has slipped once or twice. I shall let this slide, but only if you apologize right now.
We have crossed boundaries, but with a just cause. So I definitely meant my words.
Playing hero to the dame, are you?
Well, he knows he's being an asshole.
Mark my words, insolent squires. I will make you pay for this disgrace.
Whoopsh. Ah. I've been waiting to do that for so long. That was nice. Thank you for helping me out. Your boldness is commendable. I'm not sure it was wise, though, to invoke the ire of someone like him. I hope what happened today won't cause you trouble later. Foreshadowing. I think I'm going to come up with a new poetic movement on my own. Would you like to hear one of my newest poems? Apparently I wouldn't. Yeah. It was like, when we were here before, we couldn't actually do anything about that. About the harassment. Now we can. We got clout now. We killed some folks, so they take us seriously.
In combat, it would be wise to always keep an eye on the enemy's turn counter. If you can defeat it before its turn, you'll save yourself from its attack or skill. It may look trivial, but believe me, such methods can be potentially life-saving.
I love that, yeah. The soldiers speak in meta. Okay, we're at the castle. Most wanted soldier charging with a lance would prove lethal, even to Enders. Now, if only the war doesn't take place in such a faraway place.
Yeah, that bit of dialogue was a bit rushed.
I'm curious to see if there are significant changes to the dialogue here. I heard there's a big war going on. Are we fighting the Celestians again? Those people murdered my parents when we fled Elenia. I've had to live alone since 10. If you see them, kill some of them and send my regards, would you? Doesn't even know which war is going on. It's a forever war, apparently. But that's a classic. Well, the book is, as well as like the concept of eternal war. Did old Margot ramble about the 18 Years' War again? That's about the only war that matters to her. She did lose quite a lot back then, but it's time to let it go, don't you think? Hello there. Sir Daniel has been visiting the castle often lately. I heard he's a big womanizer, but I haven't seen him in such actions myself. So is Sir Daniel, I think, is Camille's brother. And sex object. Like a long-time favourite of the chat. Let's see about the quarters. No entries allowed. Please turn back. Okay. How much of this is accessible? I wish you good luck on the war, masters and misses. I shall keep these chambers neat and tidy so you can have a good rest when you return. Yeah, well... Let's see if there's any changes here. As you can see, Lucien has a poster of Lord Severin. Okay, I wonder if we have the Queen present, because the Queen is thirsty. Or maybe just we are. Well, take some more of the forbidden brew. Lord Levon is currently having a private discussion. No entry to the audience chambers allowed. Please turn back. Okay. Maybe he's having a private discussion with Sir Daniel. Because apparently the Queen has not been satisfied. Lord Levant sure takes his time. What are they talking about anyway? Perhaps we can listen to what they're saying from somewhere. Oh, yes. This stair leads to Lord Levant and Ladies of Here's private chambers. No entry is allowed. Please turn back. Okay, so that's not the place. Well, it would be the place, but... Don't actually remember this bit from my previous playthrough. But then again, I don't really remember much of it anyway. Was there something here? No, that was just a collectible. Collectible before. Okay, let's see if we can access something from our chambers. No. Now he's confused. Like, this is a fairly straightforward game. Or for the most part. So this is a bit confusing. Let's see if we can go through the kitchen, or the dining hall. Of course we end up here. Okay. Now.
What's wrong, Sir Daniel?
I think someone is listening on us, my lord. Better keep it down for a while, don't you agree?
I see. Very well then. Oh, you ain't doing nothing?
I think we're fine now, my lord.
There's shenanigans.
No, wait. Isaac. No. Status. Nope. Apparently, it's not a. The letter is not a. As an equipable object. But yeah, let's try and go in there. Yeah, now we go. Now it works. The Queen is nowhere to be seen. And Sir Daniel isn't there either.
Squires, it's good to see you in good health. Why are you here today? Aren't you supposed to be with Severin on the battlefield?
The Seneschal gave us a task, my lord. And that is to hand this letter to you.
I see. So Astory has actually been practicing such things. Thank you for delivering this letter to me, squires. Must have been a long way from Montcalm.
I'm sorry, Lord Levant. If not for us, your brother wouldn't have been sent away.
There's nothing to be sorry for, Miss Camille. He clearly went against the law. My brother or not, noble or commoner, justice must be upheld equally.
Different laws for the different folks, though.
Now, I realize you must be in a hurry to return to the front lines, squires. Unfortunately, I must ask you to make a slight detour. Just my luck. What was that, Master Renaud? Nothing, my lord. Please carry on. Astory had a peculiar pastime of collecting crystals. He spends a lot of time in the mountains. Had a simple house at Mudtown for such leisures. Perhaps you've seen him around there.
Yes, we did meet him once. We were on our way back from Mudtown, if I recall correctly. Ely remembers. He gave her a lot of shiny rocks. The ones that can heal.
Didn't bother me much back then. But now, with the context of him being, well...
We understand, my lord. Thou need not say the word. What? Ely doesn't understand.
Yes, well, now that we know he does those things, perhaps it is wise to secure his belongings from that house of his. I can send someone else to do it, but it might be a risky task. This letter says that the 6 of you have experience in these matters.
Experience is an overstatement, my lord. We were simply nearby when the act occurred.
Still better than anyone else, I reckon. Not many have had a first-hand encounter with the arcana powers, you see. It's decided, then. Go to Mudtown and clear Astory's house of his belongings, then return to me.
Then what should we do with the items?
That would be for you to decide. I would say to simply obliterate them, but I have no clue as of what these things would contain. If destroying them would be dangerous, then please improvise, squires. Bury them, throw them into the river, whatever you think is appropriate. Do you understand your orders?
Oh, I understand.
Very well. I shall await your return.
Okay. Let's save the game.
Yeah, I'd like to see more criticism of the claims of equality. Well, there is quite a lot of it in comparison to most other narratives, games or books or whatever, what have you. That clearly, like Isaac's or Reed's, like setup is that, well, things are not equal. It's in no way equal. Different laws for different folks. But he took it rather well that his brother has been exiled for 15 years and been stripped of all business. Actually, I just realized. When Sir Astery is stripped of all his possessions and of his station, that just means that they go to the crown, which is his brother. So he doesn't actually lose his possessions in an actual sense. Well, he can still petition his brother for access. So that was a clever maneuver from the bear. And also, I discussed this when it came to, was it the Inquisitors? Was it the Inquisitors? They are, which is basically like taking the black from A Song of Ice and Fire. That it's a warrior order where you give up your position. But that just isn't like the actual case. Dun, 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 dun. No, actually, the Inquisition, which is the Gareth's group, they retain the rights of their noble houses. Is it the Arbiters? So basically, that yeah, members of the order give up their noble names and all rights that come with nobility and are sworn not to meddle in matters of governance. Which is just not true. It doesn't work that way. The only way to deny them of their privilege, even though they couldn't use formal authority, they still have their connections. They're still siblings to and offspring or parents to nobles. That's not something you can just give away because it's not up to you. It's up to them. So it's a bunch of bullshit. And these are the arbiters. Sworn not to meddle in matters of governance. But they,
They are intermediaries between the noble houses, so they are like up to their necks in meddling in matters of governance. They are like governing, that's their job. And like, it's been bothering me. This sort of idea of people going against their interests, whether they're class interests or like personal interests, financial interests, whatever. That is always a very bad incentive. It just doesn't work. And if you're like creating a fantasy world or whatever, a narrative, it's a good thing to keep in mind. That I sort of started to think of this during the like summer of 2020, when the George Floyd uprising happened, and I started thinking about cops. There's also around that time, there was the study about the party loyalties and the politics of police officers in Finland, and unsurprisingly, very few leftists in the group. It's almost entirely like very hard, like right, authoritarian folks, which makes sense. It makes sense. Like, okay, I dislike the expression "all cops are bastards." Like, it would be fairer to say that like all police organizations are bastards, like corrupt or like shit or oppressive, violent, so on and so forth. Yeah. But individual cops, they often have the best of intentions. They have been brought up in an authoritarian state, and they've been convinced that they've been consuming cops as heroes narratives for their entire lives. So being a victim of brainwashing, we're all that. So it's not really fair to blame the victim. And then the actual job, well, it is about maintaining order. Whose order? But ultimately, when you look at, like, why would a cop's life would be so much easier if everyone just did as they were told. I think that's what it basically boils down to. Like, your everyday life as a cop would be so much easier if everyone simply buckled under authority. And which is like why they so hate like Extinction Rebellion and so on. Because, well, those people dare to make their lives so much more difficult. Also because the authoritarian, anything that they cannot directly control is considered harmful. Because it's all about control and power. Because we've been convinced that we need to have power to be the power over others, oppressive power over others, to have control, and that is the only way to lead a meaningful life. When instead you should embrace the chaos. Trust people. It actually makes for a happier life and a more effective system. But yeah, that gets to an abstract level. But yeah, but the arbiters here, for instance, they're expected to simply forget all their previous lives. Okay, say that you're an arbiter from. Okay, let's say the Levantines, the House Levant. You've been brought up in that house. You've played with other Levant kids. You've been raised to be a Levant, and you've been raised to think of that as your in-group. Then you end up... Okay, you join the Arbiters, you renounce your noble name and all rights that come with nobility in a formal ceremony. And then, during the course of your duties, you come to a situation where there's a conflict between, say, House Levant and House LaRue. How are you supposed to stay neutral in that situation? How could we... And I'm not saying that you're a failure because you can't. It's that it's an unfair position to put anyone in. That you will either favor your own background, or will, if you try to fight against it, then you'll just overreact. And you'll keep second guessing yourself. Not that the arbiters as a concept just suck. Okay, it is a it makes sense in the world. It's not like it makes perfect sense in the world, and I appreciate that. That they are recruited from the nobility because the nobility considers themselves inherently superior, morally superior to the commoners. Which also means that guarantees that the arbiters maintain the privileges of the nobility. But yeah, it don't make no sense. And of course, nobility, aristocracy, they're a sort of a closed system. Everyone knows everyone else. Even if you've renounced your name, people will know who you are, where you're from. It doesn't change a thing. They'll still suspect you of favoritism anyway. With good cause. It makes perfect sense. But it does undermine the authority of the arbiters. And also leads to inevitable friction and bitterness. And also, it becomes a viable tactic to just send enough people into the arbiters to undermine the organization. But yeah. Yeah, I don't think I'll enter the next stretch of the game. Not a single bit of combat in this stretch. Sorry about that. Can't be helped. Didn't design the game. Actually sort out combat to the best of my ability. For those curious to see what it's like, check out the videos on the YouTube channel if you're interested. But yeah. Yeah, I saved. Yeah, like, I was previously on Fun with Fondue's stream. I sort of promised to sort of rant about elections, electoralism. And yeah, well, getting a bit low on energy, but I do think I need to talk about that. Like, so I'm done with the game. If you're looking for the gameplay, then don't worry, you're not gonna miss anything anymore. But yeah, yeah, I was a candidate in the municipal elections in all of Finland. Didn't do, like, I got 11 votes, like, which is about as many as I suspected I would with the work I did. I was mostly signal boosting others. I was sort of happy with the work I did in that regard. But yeah, I got to see the electoral system from the inside. Hoo-wee! It is terrible. It is like my last bit of faith in electoral politics has died. Like, Olli Kohonen like did this tweet during the campaign, like in the spring or something, about being grateful for the privilege of being able to engage in the hobby of politics. And that's a very important point. Politics, especially like electoral politics and campaign, that is not only a hobby, it's a very expensive hobby. And it's a hobby that you can sink unlimited amount of energy, time, effort, and money. Yours and others. And that means that anyone who does not have these three resources in abundance isn't gonna get through, really. Or, well, there is a measure of luck involved. So that if you like answer the quizzes and so on and so forth, then you might sort of luck out and become a meme and end up in castle. But luck, sheer randomness, isn't really a suitable form of government. It doesn't. In this system, where we choose our representatives, we don't actually get representation. Like, the whole election was a play. It was the capitalist logic applied to government. Oh yeah, there's freedom of choice. Okay, what do you get to choose from? You do not get to choose from the poor. You do not get to choose from the disabled. You do not get to choose from like single parents or like working class single parents, because they ain't got time. Time, energy, money. You need those, all three of them, to be significant, to gain visibility. So you don't actually... the candidates do not represent the people in a larger sense. And I'm not like shitting on the candidates. The candidates, like, in like across party lines, even like even the fucking National Coalition that I like hate as a party from the bottom of my heart. Even they, like the candidates themselves, they're people. They generally think they're doing the right thing. They're like, in that party, they're terribly misinformed. Of course, the party leadership is another. Like, they have no shortage of information and knowledge, and they're just like shit. They are out to like intentionally oppress the people. But on a municipal level, local level, they're like folks who are reliant on their own life experience and their own frame of reference, which is fine. And they're often out to help other people, with some exceptions, with some major exceptions, but well, for the most part. Now, the problem comes when there's a conflict, and there's always conflict. There are finite resources, especially when the public sector is so badly funded, because everything needs to bow down before the almighty neoliberal capitalist system. The public sector is, after all, there to make the markets grow. So yeah, there will be conflict. There will be conflicts of interest. And sort of getting back to the point of the arbiters, you can't, no matter what your intentions are, how magnanimous or good-willed you are, when push comes to shove, it is only natural to expect you to forget about the problems of others and look to the interests of you and yours. That is like, it's just a thing that gets you forget. Like, it happens to me when it comes to minority representation and gender equality. Like, I'm a very woke individual, but I overlook race. I overlook gender inequality because it doesn't affect me. I like all other human beings, have a limited cognitive potential, capacity, and we shouldn't expect others to be like any different in that regard. Anyone who claims to be have the best brain is highly suspect. But yeah, like though that is simply stuff that gets forgotten. And it's like it is a failure, but it's not a moral failure. It's not. It wasn't your intent, and if you remember that it's a failure, then you feel bad about it. Then good, but it doesn't. On a material level, on a societal level, what your intention was doesn't matter. The damage was done. So that's why we need broad representation. So that we don't simply get the elites into this to decide who does what, or like what is done with society. So it doesn't really matter what your party is. The more resources you have, the more likely you are to get through. And then, yeah. If you get elected, you are probably, like, you're privileged by, like, definition. Or you were privileged even before you got elected. Because you had the resources to actually, like, join in the process. But yeah, it's a very disillusioning experience. Sort of left a bad taste in my mouth. But yeah, that's why like grassroots activism is so very important. Because for one thing, the more you encounter people with problems different than yours, the more aware you become, and the more you can sort of help out. Even though you are not representative, then you can at least take them into account more. Second, and more importantly, through mutual aid, solidarity, we can give an actual voice to the disenfranchised. We can, like, not dissing like local government. It is important that they decide on a whole lot of things. But they are very limited in their ability to help directly and immediately. Like, due to the laws being what they are. Because sort of helping people out is almost illegal. Unless you make a profit for a company, then it's good. Then it's okay. But yeah, because mutual aid, this support of other people, of the underprivileged, and like support, not leading them, supporting them, helping them out, so that they retain and actually increase their control over things, over their own fates, and that's a wonderful thing. But it can only be done through grassroots mutual aid, this sort of stuff. Like, the system isn't compatible with anything else. But yeah, that's a whole nother ramble. But it did feel good. Did feel good to get that out. Very frustrating. But now we're like in a situation where the election is done. We can turn our focus to other things. This grassroots stuff. Making an immediate difference. Of course, there's a regional election coming next year, and like now in half a year. Oh, good God, that's terrible. Like, because campaigning is really, really taxing, and it's really, really distracting, and it feeds cynicism, because during campaign time no one believes what you say, because people know that you're marketing yourself, and that's a perfectly valid concern. So the more elections you have, the narrower the time window is when there isn't a campaign season, and a politician could be expected to be not trying to buy your vote with promises. So, like, politicians are despised generally, and the more elections you have, the more they're despised. And it's also really resource intensive to, especially if you're not rich as fuck, then then campaigning is a real pain in the ass, and it's really exhausting, and favors a certain sort of person, like extroverts. It's a system designed by extroverts for extroverts. So, like, I'm an extrovert, so I'm sort of fine in this context, but I'm very aware that the system sucks. But yeah, another fucking election. That keeps politically active people campaigning instead of doing grassroots stuff, making actual change. And I do expect that is a feature, not a bug. Because the people who control society, they have no shortage of resources. They can simply spill money out of a bucket, like pour it in, and retain power, and expand it, as happened during these elections. But yeah, I'm sort of so done with that shit. So done. But yeah, I guess I'm also done with the stream. My back hasn't been like hurting. I suspect that my back will sort of give out before the end, when I sort of get away from the computer, relax. I've been streaming for almost 3 hours, apparently. But yeah, then my back will probably start hurting. But then, well, such is life. Well, my life, at least. Like, pain, disability, not really conducive for campaign work. Like, it really sucks. But yeah, if you're interested in more of this stuff, I'll probably I'd like to stream more, like, on this channel, because I've been streaming on the Oru Left Alliance YouTube channel, doing my part. Which would, like, I'd be happy if you subscribe to the channel. I'm not sure if you can even, like, I guess I'll have to actually, the music will cut out now, and I'm not sure if that's a bad thing. But yeah, actually I'll put it in chat, because the channel is very new and it doesn't have a custom URL yet, because we need 100 subscribers to get to that. So I'll give you a link, which of course is like long as fuck. 22. What the fucking hell? Okay, there's like 5 videos that I didn't do myself. 22, 5, that's 17 videos. Holy shit, I did 17 videos. And streams. Holy shit. Fucking hell. But yeah. There you go. And as a sneak peek, for you good folks watching the stream or the VOD, I'll also be doing another thing at not Punatullut, which is the politics channel. Leftist politics channel that I'm involved with. Actually, I could simply do this. Alexei has been doing his morning tea on Fridays. I'm not a morning person, but I'll be picking up his torch or cup or whatever. And he's going on a break from doing those because he's been doing those regularly for quite a while. So I'll start doing those sort of evening tea things. Probably on the same day. So if you are interested, do join. And it's basically me reading the news or sort of reviewing the week's news. And if you are interested in such a thing, I'll toss you a link. Generate a new link. The new Discord things confused me. But yeah, if you have any tips on news that we should cover, then do toss them there. And chat with us in general. Most of the content is in Finnish, by default Finnish, but we've had a few other like English speaking things as well. Yeah, so you can find me there, and Noppaturi, the role-playing game streams are on a summer break right now. We'll be back for Ropekon. That's the last weekend of July. I'll continue my Torakorpi Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition campaign. And so on and so forth. Okay, have I done my bit of shilling now? Have I shilled? Shall I shill more? No, I think that does it. Like, that's enough for now. Let's be happy with this. Hope you had a good time. I had a good time. I never know how to end these streams. I do my shilling, but I don't have a script for this, and so on and so forth. But I do enjoy these little tangents. It was too hot to make a video for Punatolkut. Like, I couldn't maintain concentration enough. But that's perfectly good for streaming. All hot air anyway. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let's see each other around. Bye bye. There's the link to the YouTube channel.